got 2 MVPs. I think what's most fascinating about all of this, starting with the most important discussion, is if you look at every quarterback and most players in the NFL with two MVPs, they got a Super Bowl. If I'm not wrong on this. Here's the list ahead of you. Multiple MVP quarterbacks, and they each have a Super Bowl, except Lamar Jackson. Now, what's fascinating, obviously, Lamar Jackson still has a long year and a long career ahead of him. But, Shady, let me ask you this. Lamar Jackson's season, we keep talking about MVP and MVP3, cool. But is the season a failure without a Super Bowl?
No, it's not a failure, though. But I will say this. He's got to get the one. Yeah, you can't have these multiple MVPs and the way he's playing. And even the old MVPs he had didn't look like this. This year, it looks different.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what's going on with Baltimore's offense, defense, whatever it is, they're going to have a chance because number 8 is playing that good. And when I say that, last year went to the AFC Championship game, they lost to the Chiefs, right? I need you to get there again, and I need you to get to the Super Bowl. Now, you get the Super Bowl, lose or win, I don't know how they're going to work out, but you got to get there. We talk about Patrick Mahomes, he's winning this and that every other year. We talk about Joe Burrow. Why we give him so much grace is because he did change that franchise and take them to the Super Bowl. Now, he didn't win, but he still went there. We need to see it from Lamar Jackson. And we need to see that type of big-time game in the playoffs. Yeah. Josh Allen has not been to the Super Bowl. He hasn't. But he had a matchup with Patrick Mahomes, and we still hold on to like, yo,
we do.
He did give a stat.
13.
If you can't beat a team in 13 seconds and you did everything you could do in a shootout against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on the road, and you lose by 13 seconds, that's not your fault. So Lamar, either give me one of them big-time performances in the playoffs that we can all remember, like Josh Allen, give us a Super Bowl appearance like Jalen Hurts, like Joe Burrow, to give us something to talk about. Because we can't keep talking about MVPs. Yeah. And you know what? Lamar Jackson don't want to talk about MVPs. If you listen to every interview he talks about, it's all about Super Bowl. Winning, Super Bowl. It's not about no MVP. So I think for them 3 things that happen, we'll be okay with that. But if we don't get those, we got to be real and do our job and talk about how we haven't seen Lamar Jackson be the Superman in the regular season like he is in the postseason.
Very well said. Quarterback.
Well, I mean, that was the conversation, right, coming into this year. Even if Lamar had won 2 MVPs, it's like, what is he going to do in the playoffs? Because he lost the AFC Championship game last year. It's hard for me to say it's a failure when you have 45 total touchdowns and 4 interceptions. But the more you think about it, and you showed the graphic, well, I got a graphic too, it talks about his playoff career versus the 2024 regular season. 45 touchdowns, the left column, 9 interceptions. It's a 5-to-1 ratio. Unbelievable. In the playoffs, though, 2 and 4, 9 touchdowns, 9 turnovers, a 1-to-1 ratio. Coaches talk about this ratio all the time. 2-to-1 ratio is great. 1-to-1, it's like, hey, for every touchdown, you got a turnover. It's not good, Acho. Yeah. And I think that's this conversation, right? It's the legacy of Lamar Jackson. And when I think about the legacy, I would say the same as Shady. I think he has to get to a Super Bowl. I don't even care if he wins it, to be completely honest with you. I know he probably cares, but you got to prove to me that you can go through really good teams, the Chiefs and the Bills and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, to get to a Super Bowl for the AFC, because this season, statistically, it's not a failure, but when you look at it and when you look at what he's meant to this team, if he doesn't carry this team to the Super Bowl, not only will he think it is a failure, but I will too.
Yeah. It's very simple for me. It's a failure. And it's a failure, number one, because this is a championship caliber football team. Every year Lamar's been there. Yeah. Right? In Green Bay, we knew we are going to be in the playoffs. We are that type football team. If you do not reach the Super Bowl and you have the type of caliber roster to reach the Super Bowl and the quarterback, the season is a failure. I don't care what the stats is. I don't care how the MVP. Aaron Rodgers has 4 of them things. He only been to 1 Super Bowl. In my humble opinion, those other 3 MVPs, the season was a failure. He did not get to the Super Bowl. We have seen Lamar Jackson as a running quarterback not win it, not get there. We've seen Lamar Jackson with a really good defense and a running quarterback and not get there. We've seen Lamar Jackson in a running system and not get there. We've seen Lamar Jackson in a spread system and still running the football and not get there. Now we are seeing Lamar Jackson play the best football of his life in the pocket, throwing the football, and you not gonna get there? So you telling me we've seen you every which way.
That's good.
With a good defense, with a bad defense, with a run offense, with a pass offense, every which way, and you have not been there. I don't know if you know But Patrick Mahomes ain't going nowhere, dog. He is not going to the Green Bay Packers. Patty is young. He is going to be in the AFC for the Kansas City Chiefs for his whole career. At one point, you're going to have to do what Joe did, and you got to go through him. And we've seen you in every which way. If he does not get there this year, the season's a failure. If he does not get there next year, the season's a failure. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are built like a championship football team every year, and he is the main piece. You got to get there, man. If you don't, 45 touchdowns, 5,000 plus yards, it's a waste. It's a failure to me.
Today, Lamar's 28th birthday. I read something interesting. I think Trent Dilfer at 28, he led the Ravens to their first Super Bowl. Joe Flacco at 28, he led the Ravens to their second Super Bowl. Lamar, maybe it's his time. I agree with everything everybody up here said. It's time for Lamar's reputation to grow. That's what it is. We having Lamar MVP conversations. I want to start having Lamar Super Bowl conversations. I remember in basketball, people kept saying, Embiid needs to win an MVP. Embiid needs to win an MVP when people would suggest, well, Embiid struggles in the postseason. Yeah, but it's a regular season award. That's a low vibration conversation. Now we're trying to find a reason to prop up Lamar Jackson's regular season accolades as opposed to just talking about how great he is in the postseason. For me, I want to move Lamar to a higher height. Yeah, we keep talking about the MVP. That's cool. Lamar's already done that not once. He's done it twice, and he did it unanimously. But for me also, the Ravens been healthy. They've been healthy, and they've been good. Derrick Henry, he been healthy. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, he been healthy. Mark Andrews came off the injury, but he been healthy. Isaiah Likely, he played 16 games. Defensively, Roquan Smith only missed one. Marlon Humphrey only missed one. Kyle Hamilton's played every game battling through his injury. Brandon Stephen, he ain't missed no games. BK, Travis Jones, they've been healthy. The majority of the nucleus of this team has been healthy. Ask the Detroit Lions. That's hard to come by. For me, that's why, Chase, I'm like, Lamar, if you do not win, or at least go this year, it's a failure.
You know, you said something interesting to me. You said you wanted to move him up in your reputation and growth. Okay, so we got Mahomes on another level, right? And he's up there. Where do you have Lamar? Like, how far is he going to go? He's not going to go above Patrick Mahomes if he wins a Super Bowl, right? Like, there's no way you're going to think him like that. And even with Josh Allen, like, Josh Allen has a much better career playoff record than Lamar. So what can Lamar do? Like, where is he going to go in your mind?
Here's what's fascinating. If Lamar would have beat Pat last year, now Pat has 2, and Lamar has 1. Now, all of a sudden, that disconnect is not nearly as great. Lamar would have 2 regular season MVPs. Pat would have 2 Super Bowls and 2 regular season MVPs, maybe 1. Lamar would have a Super Bowl. Like, then all of a sudden, it could be a conversation. Now, Pat got 3, Lamar got none. There is no dialogue. Yeah. But if Pat goes to 4 and Lamar stays at none.
You're just automatically thinking if they beat the Chiefs or win a Super Bowl?
I'm just suggesting that I would hope.
Smack the Niners, so yes.
I'm hoping that Lamar's greatness would elevate him.
But not even that. Even when Brady was the guy, right, there was still other quarterbacks that got some love, right? Yeah. They got some Super Bowls.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying we already, at least I do, we already talk about Lamar like top 3 quarterback in the league. Like, he's not going to go to 1. Is he going to go cement himself at 2? I'm just saying it's the legacy part.
What's wrong with chasing him down? What's wrong with chasing Pat? And then, only 28. He's only 20 years old.
There's nothing wrong with it. But quite honestly, he can't even hold anything to him right now because he's 2-4 in the playoffs.
And that's the problem. And I agree with what Acho's saying because right now Lamar's in a lot of conversations. Lamar is in the Jalen Hurts better than him in the playoffs. Brock Purdy better than him in the playoffs. He's in a lot of those conversations, and he's in the what we see the way he's playing. He's in the Patty, the Joe Burrow, he's in those conversations. You need to get out of that conversation.
Which one?
The
Joe Burrow.
No.
The
Jalen Hurts, the Brock Purdy's, because the Baker Mayfield, like Lamar Jackson, you even bring Baker got 2 playoffs. He's still in those. He has to get himself out of those conversations and clearly only be in those conversations. So when we talk playoffs, we can't even mention his name. When we talk Super Bowls, we got to mention his name. He needs to get himself into those conversations and out of those. Right now, we see a top 3 quarterback.
I also think to that point, it's a brilliant point, is at least let Lamar check off boxes that other quarterbacks have already checked off. Burrow's checked off a Super Bowl box. Lamar ain't checked that off. Jalen Hurts has checked off a Super Bowl box. Brock Purdy's checked off a Super Bowl box.
What I'm saying?
Lamar hasn't checked that off. But at least if you've checked off all those boxes, plus you got your MVPs, now nobody except for Pat can hold anything on.
And that's all you chasing now.
That's it. Whereas right now, you could suggest Burrow's better than Lamar Jackson.
100%.
You could suggest it.
You
could say Lamar been to a Super Bowl. You could suggest that Josh Allen is at least as good as Lamar Jackson, AFC Championship game, and also lost to Pat divisional round 13 seconds. But Lamar is in too many low vibration conversations.
Because of the playoffs.
Well, and quite honestly, like even though he's won 2 playoff games, he hasn't played great in playoff games at all. Like you could say that the reason they won those playoff games, Lamar, but it's the run game and the defense. They haven't won a playoff game straight up just because of Lamar Jackson. Now, they got the Steelers, are 10-point favorites. I think he could put up a game and be like, all right, even though the Steelers have lost 4 straight, it's one of those things that's like, hey, the first step in the right direction, you're going to have to play 3 to get there.
But here's what's even worrisome as you're talking about that. There is a world, obviously, given how Lamar has historically, maybe not this year, but historically struggled against the Steelers, where Lamar could struggle in this playoff game.
Man, that's why I like
that.
He's 2-4 versus the Steelers, right?
Ain't no way.
I hope
this Lamar?
I hope
He struggled against the Steelers the first time this year.
And they kicked all field goals.
Remember. Look at him against the Steelers.
I get it, bro. I get it. But I always believe
12 giveaways.
See, this is the thing for me, guys. See, now this is the issue we have in here. And I gotta be honest,
dog?
You see how quick y'all saying, well, the playoff this, the playoff that, He hasn't shown us nothing. But when a young guy like Sam Darnold plays well for this season, y'all forget all the bad stuff he did in the past. Yeah. Is it the same?
Respectfully, Sam Darnold hasn't started a playoff game, so we don't know how he's going to play in this playoff.
But I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying.
Wait, I don't know what he's saying. Elaborate. I'm not even trying to argue. Elaborate.
Okay. You're saying that Lamar's past performances in the playoffs haven't been good.
Yeah.
And you're saying,
haven't been great.
Okay, haven't been great. And you guys can't trust him so far in the playoffs because you haven't seen it yet.
I never said I can't trust him. Never said I can't trust him.
I'm just saying, like, I'm
You
worried.
guys are worried.
I'm worried. I'm worried.
That's what I'm saying. So when we go to Sam Darnold, you're not worried. He's been awful his whole career, and this year he's been playing well. You're not worried.
Oh, I am. We're gonna have an NFC quarterback. We're gonna have an NFC quarterback.
He's never started a playoff. Playoffs is a completely different animal. And Lamar, all I want to see is that 5-to-1 ratio this year not translate to a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in the playoffs.
The only thing is,
you got to win multiple playoff games.
I get that. All I'm saying is, yes, you guys all have a point because he hasn't been great in the playoffs. Cool, I'm with that. But I haven't seen this Lamar. I don't even know this Lamar Jackson right here. I've seen a great Lamar Jackson. This is like Superman Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I'm betting on that Lamar Jackson, the way he's been playing lately, he's going to continue this in the playoffs.
And because, we speak Ebonics over here, you know what I'm saying? And my dog is basically saying, Sam Darnold playing well, we forget all the bad stuff. And
Forget about it.
Hold on. And we saying pay the man. He is the future. He is the franchise quarterback. Trade J.J. McCarthy. Give him the keys. But with Lamar, it's like, we remember his playoffs has been bad.
He's only got 2 wins.
He's been great this year. He finna kill the Steelers.
But there's levels to it, dog. There's levels to it. Like, in my opinion, Lamar has shown and proven he is a top 3 quarterback in the league. Go prove to me you're on Patty's level. Like, Darnold's a one-hit wonder right now. He's played one good year.
That's what I say all the time.
So why are we saying give him all that money then? We forgetting all that and we saying give him all the money.
Because, that's a completely different conversation. That's a completely different conversation.
The conversation, it's a different conversation than the one we're having right now.
It's absolutely different than the one we're having right now.
I've suggested just franchise tags.
But what I'm saying is, though, all I'm saying is that you guys, even though he's been so bad, right? But now he's having a good year. Y'all forget how bad he's been. When I say with Lamar Jackson, give him the same credit. Like, he might not have been really good in the playoffs, but the way he's playing right now, give him that same grace.
We have
That's all I'm asking.
Same grace, and he's been amazing. I've never seen Lamar Jackson play the way he's played this year. He has 5 losses. He has 5 losses this year. In a Lamar Jackson that is playing like this, he has 5 losses. So let that sink in. Darnold has 3. So I'm just saying, and it's not even a conversation about him and Darnold. I get that. But Lamar Jackson, for how well he's been, it doesn't even matter this season if he has this. His legacy, Lamar Jackson's legacy, is a 2-4 career playoff record.
Right, I got you.
No Super Bowl appearances, no Super Bowl wins. I hope he gets to it because he deserves it. He's played like it, but he has not played like it.
But do you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that you make it evident that, hey, he's great and all that, but he hasn't won the playoffs. He hasn't this, he hasn't done that.
And that's the same.
And guess what? And you're right, Chase. I'm with you on that. But hold Sammy the same way. When we talk about Sam Darnold, you don't never speak about how awful he was and seeing ghosts and how bad he was. You only speak on how good he's playing right now. So what I'm saying is, playoffs or not, regular season or not, the same way you forget about Sam Darnold being awful as a quarterback and now he's playing well, why Lamar can get the same type of that's all I want. Same type of treatment.
Question, because for me, and obviously we're going to rank later on in the show our NFC quarterbacks. I think it's a different conversation in the sense of I don't trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs.
No.
I'm just suggesting Sam Darnold's had a great season.
He's played well this season.
That's it. Like, no more, no less. He's been bad his whole career. He's played great this season.
It's what Shady's been talking about the whole time. when you're a superstar, you get different treatment.
Of course.
And as you should, but when you say it's a different conversation, it's not. It's the same conversation because you're forgetting something. So it's the same conversation, but it's just Lamar and the Patties and the Joes are held to a way higher standard. And that's why
Lamar has 2 MVPs. That's why.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm suggesting is, and I think some of our Sam Darnold conversation has gotten diluted. The only thing I have said about Sam Darnold this year is he's having a great year. Period. Like, I'm not saying he should get a $300 million contract. He's having a great year. Lamar's having a great year. I do not trust either of them in the playoffs.
Okay, there you go.
I don't trust either of them. I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs because he ain't done it in the playoffs, and I've never seen Darnold in the playoffs. And I don't think Darnold is actually all that good. I think he's having a great year, and Kevin O'Connell's gotten the most out of Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold continues to be this good for a while, then you got to recalibrate. But in the same breath, I don't think Lamar's all that good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he ain't never been that good in the playoffs.
9 touchdowns, 9 picks.
So it's now I like that take. I can take that take. Yeah. But just stay there though.
Been there.
And that's why it is a failure if he doesn't get there. Because he needs to get people like you and you from talking like that. No, for real. And it's not a bad
like that.
And it's not a bad take.
We've said nothing but facts.
He's bad in the playoffs.
Correct.
He has to get people from stop talking about. He's too great for that.
But everyone should be talking like that.
I know, but I'm saying he has to get himself out of those conversations. I'm not saying y'all are wrong, but when you sit here and talk about 2-time MVP, how great Lamar is looking, to say you don't trust him or Sam Darnold, putting them both in the same sentence in the playoffs, he has to get himself out of those conversations.
I trust Lamar more than Sam Darnold.
I'm not saying who or more. I'm just saying we don't trust none of them.
Like Ben Johnson.
You already put him on the team, huh? Bears head coach. You already put him on the team.
Tate, you were on the team. You were you were the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I think you started a game in there.
Like 4.
Started a couple of them. Yeah. So Chase, should Caleb have input on the Bears' next head coach?
No. He's a rookie, bro. Like, he's a rookie. What have you done in this league other than step on the field and start? Like, look, I would say that Caleb Williams right now, they have to, when I say the Chicago Bears have to find a head coach that gets the best Caleb Williams out there. And the Caleb Williams that we think and we know, we've talked about him as generational. I just want to see progress and growth. And when you're Caleb Williams and you're a rookie, now I bet that Kevin Warren, who is the president of the Bears, he's running this whole process along with Ryan Poles. They will say, hey, like, Caleb, here's what we're thinking. And Caleb might give some advice, but at the end of the day, they're going to make this hire themselves. Like, for me and everyone else out there, unless you've lived under a rock, the Bears need an offensive head coach. Yeah. They can't go back-to-back defense. So I can't even comprehend a way, because I've seen bigger name guys in this league not have says in head coaching. So I can't imagine that they're going to give him one. I don't know. This is an interesting conversation because it's like, well, people are like, well, he's the franchise. He should have a say. He's 22 years old, like 23 years old. Like, this is a franchise that is stuck in purgatory. And it's stuck in like, hey, you're firing a head coach, you're drafting a quarterback, you're firing a head coach, you're drafting. It's like a nonstop cycle. They need to find a leader of men who can develop Caleb Williams. Now, who is that? Is it Mike Vrabel? I know he's not offense, right? Like, that's the leader of men, but then who are you going to take for your offense coordinator? In my opinion, it's probably Ben Johnson, but Mike McCarthy's out there too. They requested to talk to Mike McCarthy. Well, I don't know. Like, do you need a guy like that who's been a head coach, who has the same amount of playoff wins, 11, that the Chicago Bears have since 1963? Like, do you need somebody like that to come in and step and take your organization over? I don't think he's going to have a say in it. They're going to let him know which way they go. They're probably going to lean offense.
I think he has to have a say. I don't even necessarily know that I want him to, but he has to. NFL organizations, their success, it comes down to the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback, period. Ask John Payton and Russell Wilson. Ask Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Ask Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. It all comes down to the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback. At minimum, there has to be a mutual level of respect there, if not some level of understanding and friendship. So if you hire a head coach that Caleb does not get along with, you're just going to sink the franchise for the next 2 to 3 years because Caleb will not get along with that head coach. I don't even know that I agree with what I'm saying, but I do know that that's the only way it can go shady.
Yeah.
He has to have a say because that relationship has to be strong.
I think he does need to have a say, just not the last word, right? I think for a guy to go out there and be the number 1 pick overall, right, and have all this hype, and for the team and GMs, right, and the franchise and ownership to think, okay, this is our next guy. Now, the rookie season, I ain't worried about that. I've seen bad quarterbacks play in rookie season, and they turn it around. But what I'm saying is, when you go out and get this guy, now you start adding pieces to it. You get this running back, you get this lineman, you get these wide receivers. You do all this for this 1 pick, right, and you get him. Now, he had he had a tough season this year. It wasn't horrible, it was a tough season, okay? And I'm thinking about if you ask, okay, what type of coaches you like? Or maybe you giving some different coaches, how you feel about this guy? How you feel about this guy? Would you fit with here? Would you fit there? I think you need to know how he thinks because he is a big part of your team, right? I look at a guy like Peyton Manning, who had a bad rookie season. Matter of fact, he had so bad of a rookie season that he had the rookie interception record, right? But imagine if you didn't ask him what he thought about the next coach coming in. You get what I'm saying? If he was in that situation. Because the next year he started balling. And after that, he started rolling. You get what I'm saying? So you go from setting that rookie interception record and we're thinking, oh, he's not going to be that good. Or he needed some time, and he gets good, and he gets better and better and better because he had a lot of talent, and he becomes a superstar franchise quarterback. So all I'm saying is, in the same situation, he didn't have a great season, but he still could be your franchise quarterback, and you took him number 1 overall. You mean just taking number 1 overalls for no reason. I think he should have some type of say, but he shouldn't have the last word because he is, like Chase did say, he's 22 years old, he's a kid, you know. But I think his pain does matter a little bit.
My answer is no. 3 of us got kids up here. You got nieces and nephews, right? Sometimes your kids do stuff, your nieces and nephews do stuff, and you say, stop, no, off the rip. Why? I know what's best for you, dog. It shouldn't even have to be said. It is your franchise quarterback. Joe Burrow didn't pick my man. Lamar Jackson did not pick my man. No, the offensive coordinator. He didn't pick Tom. They knew we need to find somebody to make Joe better. We need to find somebody to make Lamar better. I promise you, if they said, Lamar, who you want? He don't know Tom Monken at Georgia. I promise you he ain't picking him. And he got you playing the best football we've ever seen you ever play. It shouldn't even have to be you asking him. You should already know as a GM, as an owner, we need to get the head coach that is going to be the best for Caleb Williams, an offensive-minded coach that can help him, a respected coach that can help him. He is way too young to have any input. If not, we need to start getting some GM money and all that type stuff, too. It is your job to make these decisions to put us in the best situation.
I think that's the final word. But I do think we need to eat like Lamar. You don't know if they showed Tom Monken some of his offense. Hey, how you feel about this? I'll give you an example. So I did play with Josh Allen. We know how good he is. I did play with Patrick Mahomes. We know who he is. And I did play with Tom Brady. And they all had a word to say about what they're doing. Andy Reid is the best of the best. He gonna run his offense the way he gonna run it. But he would ask Pat, hey, how you feel about this? Early in the game, do you want to run this? Like, he's getting his game plan, he's getting his thoughts, he's getting his opinion. Tom Brady's another one. Bruce Arians and Brian Leftwich, they had their own thing they wanted to do. Tom was with the Patriots for so many years, he had his own office he wanted to run. And for us to win and be a great team like we got to at the end of the year.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.